Hello, we are Geeks Assembled. There you are. Today, me and Susan, of course, are discussing another Wes Craven movie. This time from the mid 90s, from 1995, classed as a comedy horror, starring Eddie Murphy and Angela Bassett. Um, when I saw her name in this, I thought, wow, anything Angela Bassett does, I think it's an amazing movie or TV series because she's a brilliant actress, Angela Bassett. Um, well, I'll get on to what I thought of the movie after we've done our little intro and stuff. But yes, we're talking Vampire in Brooklyn, um, which was, shall we say, a different sort of acting role for Eddie Murphy. Well, this is what took me by surprise, and I think most of the fans of Eddie Murphy by surprise when this came out. So let's go over to Susan with her opening thoughts on Vampire in Brooklyn.
Okay, from Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood to the Vampire of Brooklyn, the 90s were full of Eddie Murphy trying to stretch his thing ever since he was, Beverly Hills Cop and stuff. And, he's a funny guy. I mean, Saturday Night Live was big. He was a big star on Saturday Night Live. And he's just a really great actor. And Coming to America, which they just did a sequel to Coming to America 2, something like that. And uh and I just think that he's he's pretty much a class act. I mean, he's not got the same shit that every all these other famous people of color have going on with all those you know accusations from women, but he's a class act, and in this he's like using the class differential. Actually, let's use this in a different way, eh? There's a class differential between him and everybody else in Brooklyn at the where he landed, because everybody else in Brooklyn's kind of pretty much salt of the earth, downtrodden, hate, hateful people, gross, just kind of normal city dwellers. I don't know. What do you call them? Uh, just, you know, bums.
I was going to say,
Bums.
thinking of the right
Anyway,
bums, down and out bums.
yeah, like bums, like that was just like the way it was. And he went and basically took over this one guy's apartment and turned it into something beautiful. And then there was this witch doctor there, Dr. Zico, and then there was like this whole romance thing between himself and Detective Rita Vedder. And Detective Vedder was played by Angela Bassett, as Lee had mentioned earlier, and she's amazing. But he snookers her because as a vampire you can snooker anybody you want. It's just part of the thing. And yeah, there's a bunch of white people who are like annoying and in your face all the time, um and then there's like the Brown family, and Vicky Lynn Reynolds. She's somebody that we've seen a lot of in in like everything, like uh Joyful Noise and a bunch of other ones. She was in almost every single one of the African American gospel movies, like that went on in the 90s and early 2000s, that were really instrumental in discipleship and stuff for young Susie here. And so it was great to see her younger and more, in a broader context, and so that was fun. And yeah, it was a retelling of Dracula. There was a retelling of Dracula being in New York. The ship that ran aground actually did just decimate that restaurant. I mean, like that was amazing. Like usually you see them and they're out on the rocks. Okay, you see these ships. They do what they can to stay afloat. I mean, sometimes they're in the Dracula story there's a ship's mate lashed to the wheel or something like that. This one they set the autopilot whatever and just aimed right for the pier, and Eddie Murphy or the Maximilian ate everybody on the ship. And I mean, he had a long trip because he came all the way from Eastern Europe, and so that was interesting. So let's see, he was suave, debonair, really good dancer. Um, uh, fun to see. There were lots of funny portions, and I'm looking at Lee's face right now, and I don't know if he really likes American humor. So I'm just gonna like lay that out there for you ahead of time. Spoilers, no spoilers. This has been discussed in our podcast from the minute we started doing these sons of guns. Anyway, you could tell that's probably what he's gonna say, but he could probably tell that I'm gonna say that I really like that kind of sense of humor because, you know, um, Brooklyn is it's a tale of two different cities. There's like the super rich in Brooklyn, and then there's like the super poor in Brooklyn, and living in rent controlled apartments and stuff like that. And then there's the kind of super rich that is just like in your face, kind of everywhere, and that's those differences are key to this. People are looking all these people were looking for the money, and when he starts dropping those thick gold coins around, that was a temptation, and he got this one guy to be his Julius Jones to be his minion, his Renfield, because of the coins, and because of the glamoring, that thing that vampires do. They suck your brain out through your earballs. They move your love interest to the highest point, uh, even if it's the wrong gender for your current. But it doesn't really matter because they're glamorous and they've turned you fall in love with your vampires. And honestly, that's what happened to me. That's a little discussion that we can have another time about, maybe when we're reviewing the new series, the new Anne Ray series, Interview with the Vampire, because that might be like really really good. Because anyway, and maybe she'd be really proud, but I'm really sorry that she's gone. Man, that sucks. Because I really wanted to meet her. You just want to meet all these fancy people, but then you realize that there's fancy people everywhere. So I just wanted to lay that one out there too. Anyway, back over to you, Lee.
Thank you. Well, all I've got to say is story by Eddie Murphy, produced by Eddie Murphy. I'll just have to say Eddie Murphy. I'm not a big fan of Eddie Murphy, but I can appreciate what he's done in his movies. So for the change of style in this movie for him, is all these other comedy movies, he's been the lead role. He's the lead role in this, but for his character, wasn't very funny. The comedy came from Kadeem Hardison, who played Julius Jones. which for me personally, I thought Eddie Murphy would have played that role because that guy was just channeling Eddie Murphy all the way through it. That to me was Eddie Murphy's role. All the comedic part was down to him. Eddie Murphy was playing it straight, and I don't think it worked for me. And I think a lot of fans, when they went to see this, I'm not, I could be wrong, was expecting a good, comedy thing from Eddie Murphy, and he was the straight guy, which a lot of people mostly was disappointed with.
But
But
he's trying to be romantic.
yeah. I mean, okay, he was stretching his acting abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's expanding his repertoire, but why fix it when it's not broke? But don't get me wrong. I mean, it was a nice little story to watch, film to watch, but I wouldn't say it's his best. I think for me, the only saving grace in this was Angela Bassett again, because I think she's just awesome. Everything she does, she's just amazing in. She was amazing in this, of course. As I say, the comedy came from Julius Jones, his ghoul.
Yeah, Angela Bassett will be great in the new Wakanda Forever movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But you say, yeah, you had Doctor Zico, the sort of modern witch doctor, didn't you? Which was quite a good character to have, but he wasn't in it enough for me personally. He should have been in it a little bit more. There's one question I've got to ask. At the end of the movie, when Maximilian sort of became his truth when he got staked.
And
Spoilers.
turned into a Klingon.
A Klingon. That's what I was just going to say to you. He became a Klingon. when he fell back into his coffin and just laid there, I thought, why have they made him into a Klingon? Because it was, wasn't it? It was.
Hey, you and I thought the same thing, and usually we don't come up with the same ideas about anything.
Yeah.
So that was quite a remarkable transformation.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like his character. I know it was like was it from Royal Transylvanian blood or wherever, but he came from Africa, and they went to Transylvania from Africa and stuff like that. But he came across, I think it was the way he portrayed the character, but he came across like a pimp. It was the way he acted, dressed a Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
It was like that, and I thought, I don't know. So it's not ringing with me here. It's not gelling with me. But the other comedic parts for me as well, where Eddie Murphy did shine, was when he was playing other characters.
Yeah.
When he took over the body of the preacher and the gunman who he held up the restaurant.
Yeah.
Which showed you Eddie Murphy's comedic ability.
Yeah.
Which was sorely lacking in this movie. So, but if he'd have done that a bit more in the movie, it might have worked better with me.
Yeah.
But it just shows you his ability to create these characters with the disguise of prosthetics and stuff like that. How we can create these characters.
Yeah.
And to me, the preacher and the gunman was a more interesting characters he was playing than the main character he was playing.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay, but the thing was is that due to the fact that Eddie Murphy hadn't been offered many romantic leads, he kind of had to design this one.
Mm.
That
I mean, it got, what did this get? It was, the budget for this was $14 million, and the box office, it took 35 million.
oh, okay.
So it wasn't that big of a success.
No,
So I mean, was this after Doctor Dolittle or before?
let me see. Hang on just a sec.
Um, I think it was after. Let's have a look. No, it was before. The Nutty Professor followed a year after, and Doctor Dolittle was in '98. So this was really was mostly the first of his films where he played other characters.
Yeah,
So so he got the liking for that then.
yeah. I mean, he was in this one. He was the romantic lead, and then he didn't actually get a romantic lead um all the way back through um well, there was a little romance in Adventures of Pluto Nash, but honestly, Dreamgirls is it. Dreamgirls was the next time, and then
Yeah, it's just
he never got another romantic part other than this. So Lee, it's just he needed this, and this is like the only time he was going to get it, and so he wrote it himself.
right. I'll pass back to you for moments then, because there's someone scratching at the door.
All
Hold on a
right,
minute.
all right. Of course there is. That's not a surprise. The other thing that was really, I think he also produced it. Yeah, he produced this, and but he only ever directed one thing, and that was Harlem Nights, and that was yeah, that was another one that was like showcasing his love, and he loves to talk about New York. I mean, he really is someone who really loves the city and uses the city as a good backdrop, like um, like a lot of people do, like Ghostbusters did. Like there's a lot of people who use the city as a separate character, as a separate kind of um personality, and it's because New York is so weird and so different. And
Well, yeah, I mean, New York has got a personality. I mean, I mean, I don't know if you know, but the Hall and Oates song, "Man Eater,"
yeah.
is a song about New York.
Oh, I thought it was about a girl.
No. Everybody does think that, but it was written about New York. She's a man eater.
So anyway, yeah, exactly. Without even trying, Lee has just completely made my point for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like there was a lot of like uh I mean, people often set their stories in a place, and then they turn that place into a character, and
Mhm.
this one definitely was. And like I really enjoyed the moments where he's out in the clubs dancing, and you can actually hear them back and forth, and like but the music was so 90s. You know, it was so just about ready to turn into trance and electronica, but straight up about boinky techno and stuff, and that was fun. And the his I love how much they used the glamour gift. I thought that that was really something fun, and I loved how he was able to show Angela Bassett love, and like the other girls that he was munching on. That was, and the guys. He was able to uh, just manipulate them and control them, and it, and because of how he was acting, because of some choices that he made, he made choices like when he was with that one girl, he wrapped his hand around her and just touched her shoulder really lightly. I just thought that that was like, I just love those sort of romantic touches and stuff. And I think that Eddie worked really hard on making those really work. And he did do, I mean, it wasn't, people aren't used to seeing him as a romantic lead, so it was kind of like, huh, does this work?
Where's the Eddie Murphy we all know?
Yeah, but that it just finished Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Mm.
And so yeah, anyway, I enjoyed it a lot. um the vampire lore was solid. It was good. The it just ring true. And then there's like the the moving coffin thing that was amazing. And how strong he was, how he was able to like scratch the walls and stuff like that. That was fun. And the mist form that he took, that was great. And then the dog one was cool, but I don't think that they used it more than just when the ship crashed. But
Yeah. I think that was the only time you saw the
yeah,
was it a big it was a big wolf or something, wasn't it?
yeah, dog form, wolf form, whatever. Yeah, that was yeah, it was cool. The lore that they didn't need to have dirt, that was also really good, because you didn't see 20 minutes of some poor lackey logging a bunch of dirt around that. As far as movies goes, that gets boring. So like, that's not supposed to be in movies. You're supposed to write that in a story, but not put it in a movie. And like other things that waste time. uh but the fact that, you know the baby and stuff, uh, that was missing. And I don't know. Yeah, there was some
But
things from the book that really would have kind of, you know drew more of the people of Brooklyn into the story. Like if there'd been a baby that he was going to eat, or
yeah,
anyway,
I
some
mean, it, as I said earlier, though, the comedic part for me was Julius Jones.
yeah,
He That was where all the comedy was coming from,
yeah,
and most of the moments what stick in my head are the parts where he's involved.
yeah.
The his his hand coming off when he's
Oh,
buffering the car, and
yeah, and
and then he gets a mannequin's hand. His ear falls off,
his ear. Yeah,
and what was the other one? Oh, his eyeball shot out, and all the comedy stuff was coming from from that character.
yeah.
Uh,
And
you
because
know,
they didn't they it wa- I mean, they didn't take the Mickey out of well, they did take the Mickey out of Rehnquist. Yeah.
and the other character was his mate, the older guy. Oh, was it Silas?
Yeah.
Um, he that was a good fleshed out character, but not in the movie much. You saw him at the beginning, a little bit in the middle, and then he was at the end where he was about to feed him to Rita.
Yeah.
A good character,
Yeah.
another another comedic character, but that's for me. That's where where the comedy was coming from. Those two people, and they're saying, and every time Angela Bassett came on screen, she lit the screen up as she always does. So, any other things you'd like to say about Vampire in Brooklyn?
Um, I mean, there was a lot of like little cameos, like Jerry Hall,
Oh yes, yeah.
um, Wendy Robbie. She was like she played the Christian woman,
Hmm.
and then Ray Combs and Mitch Pileggi, um, playing Tony the Hitman, and Mitch Pileggi is yeah. We'll talk about him more later.
And hopefully there was no real cats
Uh,
hurt in this movie.
yeah, no,
I mean, that was a funny scene.
yeah,
But if there's nothing else, shall we go to Final Say and Score?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, over to you then. Oh,
All right. Well, uh, because I've enjoyed seeing this the couple times that I've seen it, and because I really liked how I liked Eddie Murphy trying a romance, and I do understand that because of like the way that everybody cast him after that. Basically, they were just you know putting him in a position where he is where he was uh where he's just comedy and just a comedian, and not just, but that's his focus. And so I really liked the work that he did in this, and really liked how it made me feel. And so I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10 vampire bites, or vampires turning Klingon out of 10.
yeah, yeah. We both noticed it. So,
Yeah.
um, well, for me, yeah, it's a fun watch. It's not, as I say, it's not his best movie. So for me, I'm going to give it 7.5.
Mhm.
Um, Steaks out of 10. Medium rare steaks out of 10. It's an enjoyable movie, but if you want to see, Eddie Murphy at his comedic best, this is not one of his films. Because he's the straight guy. He's the as Sue said, he's the romantic lead.
Yeah. That
There's the comedy is lacking on Eddie Murphy's part, but it's made up with the other characters in it. Um,
it
yeah,
is.
go give it. Go, you guys out there, go give it a watch. It's out. It's accessible out there. So that is our little review of Vampire in Brooklyn, another Wes Craven movie. We didn't really mention Wes Craven in this one, did we?
No, was he? He wasn't in. He didn't do a personal appearance in it, did he?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I know he did
Oh,
in some others, but I don't think I saw him. He might have been. But yeah, that's our little review of Vampire in Brooklyn. Um, Susan, it's always a pleasure joining me
yes.
and talking movies and stuff. You guys out there, if you want to join me and Susan, all you have to do is message us.
Yep.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Insta, the other one, Facebook, YouTube. um, just leave us a message. You please be 18 plus. That's all we ask of you, to be 18 plus. Have a PC or a laptop or a tablet or even a mobile phone. All you need is a camera and a microphone. And, just leave us a message and we'll try and get you on. We're on those platforms, so just send one away. Also, when you subscribe to not if, but when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, please press the bell notification button, ding like that, and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. So that, I think, is it, isn't it, Susan?
Yeah, it's pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. A little quick one, that one for
Yeah.
this video.
And
So
I'm really glad to see Patty's back in the middle of our podcast. She's putting in an appearance today.
yeah, she's just she likes to steal the screen.
Yep, there she is, still on the screen again. Sorry
Yeah.
about that, Lee. Got staged by your cat again.
Every time. I don't know. So yeah, so that's us done for now. So until next time, please be safe out there. Until next time, me and Susan will be back on talking whatever we want to talk about. Till bye bye.